So I was sitting there. My hands were shaking, and I realized I had three different projects due the next morning.
Oh, Elias, that sounds like a total nightmare. Were you really going to stay up all night just to please your colleagues? I was. I thought saying no would make me look lazy or rude. I was terrified of the confrontation. You know that feeling in your stomach?
Oh, I know it well. That people pleaser anxiety. I think we've all been there, Elias, trying to be the nice person until it actually starts to hurt our own well being.
Exactly. It's a trap, Luna, a very polite but exhausting trap.
Well, today we're breaking that trap. Welcome back to Speak English with Luna, the podcast where we level up your English and your life. I'm here with Dr. Elias Vance, and today we're tackling a huge challenge: how to say no without being rude. Elias, you eventually discovered the secret to setting boundaries, right?
I did, and it changed my career and my health. It's not about being mean, it's about being clear and respectful. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I'm so ready to learn. Let's dive into how you fixed that 3 a.m. crisis. So, Elias, what happened after that 3 a.m. realization? Did you actually send an email saying no to everyone?
Not exactly. I realized I didn't need to be blunt. I used what I call the buffer technique.
The buffer technique. That sounds professional. What does it actually mean?
It means you cushion the no with a bit of kindness. Instead of a hard, I can't do that, you start with appreciation. For example, I'd love to help with this, but I'm tied up right now.
I'm tied up. I love that. It sounds so much softer than just saying, I'm busy, right?
Exactly. It suggests that you want to help, but your hands are literally tied by other responsibilities. You aren't rejecting the person, you're rejecting the timing. Does that make sense?
Wow, I never thought of it that way. It shifts the focus from I don't want to I literally can't right now.
Precisely. Another great phrase is I'm at capacity. It's very polite but very firm.
I'm at capacity. That sounds so fancy. Like my brain is a full parking lot and there's no room for more cars.
That's a perfect metaphor, Luna. You're telling the other person that your parking lot is full. You're being honest about your limits.
Right. And honestly, people usually respect that more than a yes that ends up being a late or bad job.
100%. Quality over quantity, always.
Okay, wait. Let's do a quick vocabulary checkpoint for our listeners.
Let's do it.
To be tied up, to be very busy or occupied. At capacity, having no more room or time for extra work. The buffer technique, using kind words to soften a difficult message.
Great list. Now, Luna, I have a question for the listeners.
Go for it.
We want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. What is the hardest situation for you to say no? Is it at work or maybe with your family?
Oh, family is the hardest for me, especially when my mom asks for tech support. Elias, I want to go deeper. You mentioned that crisis at 3 a.m. earlier, but let's talk about the moment of the request. Imagine you're at work. It's Friday at 4:30 p.m., and your boss walks in with a huge favor.
Ah, the classic Friday surprise. I know it well. In my case, it was my director, Sarah. She was intense. She asked me to redo an entire presentation for a Monday morning meeting.
No way. On a Friday afternoon? That's practically a crime against weekends. What was your first instinct?
My first instinct was to say, sure, Sarah, no problem. I'll get it done. Even though inside my heart was sinking because I had a dinner planned with my family.
Right, because we want to be seen as team players, right? We're afraid that saying no means we aren't committed.
Exactly. That's the psychological barrier. We confused compliance with commitment. But here's the thing, Luna. If I had said yes, I would have been resentful the whole weekend. I would have done a mediocre job because I was angry.
Wow, resentful. That's a strong word, but so true. You're doing the work, but you're hating every second of it.
Exactly. So I used a concept from William Ury called the positive no. It's a three-step sandwich. Yes, no, yes.
A yes, no, yes sandwich? Okay, I'm hungry for this knowledge. How does it work?
The first yes is not to the person. It's a yes to your own values. You affirm what is important to you.
Okay, wait. So you don't say yes to the boss, you say it internally.
Precisely. You clarify your priority. My yes was to my family time and my mental health. Once I felt firm in that yes, the no became much easier to deliver.
I see. It gives you a foundation. So what was the actual no you gave to Sarah?
I said, Sarah, I value the quality of this presentation and I want it to be perfect. However, I cannot commit to redoing it this weekend without compromising the work I'm already finishing.
Compromising. That's such a powerful B2 level word. It sounds so professional. You aren't saying, I want to watch Netflix. You're saying, I want to protect the quality.
Exactly. It's about the work, not about your laziness. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. It takes the ego out of the conversation. But Elias, I'm still nervous. What was the final yes, the last part of the sandwich?
The final yes is an invitation to an alternative. I said, what I can do is arrive early on Monday morning and have the revisions ready by 10 a.m. Would that work for the meeting?
Oh, that is brilliant. You ended with a solution. You didn't just shut the door, you opened a different one.
Exactly. And you know what? Sarah said, actually, 10 a.m. on Monday is fine. I just wanted to make sure it was on your radar.
Wow. So all that stress you felt, it was mostly in your head?
Often it is. We project our fears onto other people. We think they will be furious, but usually they just want the job done.
Right. But what if the person is, well, a bit pushy? You know, the type of person who doesn't take a no as an answer?
Those are the boundary pushers. For them, you need to be like a broken record. You stay polite, but you repeat your boundary without adding new excuses.
Without adding new excuses. Why is that important?
Because every time you give a new excuse, you give them a new hook to pull you back in. If you say, I can't go because my car's broken, they say, I'll give you a ride.
Oh my God, yes. I've been caught in that trap so many times. I try to be too honest and it backfires.
Exactly. A simple, I have a prior commitment is a closed circle. It's respectful, but there's no room for them to negotiate.
Prior commitment. Whisper. That's my new favorite phrase. It sounds so official and mysterious at the same time.
It really is. It could mean you're going to a wedding, or it could mean you're going to sit on your couch in your pajamas. Both are valid commitments to your time.
Exactly. My commitment to my pajamas is very serious. Elias, this is so empowering. I think many of our listeners feel like they owe everyone an explanation. But we don't, do we?
We owe people respect and clarity, Luna. Pause. We don't owe them our entire soul or every minute of our day. Setting a boundary is actually an act of kindness because it prevents the relationship from becoming toxic with resentment.
Toxic with resentment. That's a deep thought. By saying no now, you're actually saving the friendship or the professional relationship for later.
100%. You're being sustainable. You're making sure you don't burn out. You know what I mean?
I definitely do. I'm feeling more confident already. I'm ready to start saying no to things that don't align with my yes.
It takes practice, Luna. Don't expect to be perfect at it today. Start small. Say no to a coffee invite you don't really want to go to.
Start small. I like that advice. Okay, listeners, take a deep breath. We just covered a lot of ground. Elias, thank you for being so vulnerable about your own struggles.
It's my pleasure. We're all learning together.
Elias, we've talked about the what and the how, but I want to touch on the sophistication of the no. In a high-stakes professional environment, how do we decline without sounding like we lack ambition?
That is a profound question, Luna. It requires a high degree of tact. You see, at a C1 level, we move beyond simple phrases and start navigating the nuances of corporate etiquette.
Nuances. I love that word. It's all about those tiny, subtle details that change the whole meaning, right?
Precisely. One sophisticated way to say no is to focus on alignment. You might say, while I appreciate the opportunity, I need to ensure my current projects are executed with total integrity, so I must decline to maintain my standards.
Executed with total integrity. Wow, that sounds so much more powerful than I'm too busy. It shows you care about the quality of your work. So it's actually more professional to be assertive about your limits than to be a yes man who fails to deliver.
Exactly. And that brings us to our golden word of the day. Luna, do you want to do the honors?
I'd love to. Today's golden word is assertiveness.
It's a beautiful word. People often confuse it with aggressiveness, but they are worlds apart. Aggressiveness is about pushing others down. Assertiveness is about standing your own ground with respect and clarity.
Standing your own ground. I think that is a skill many of us are still refining. It's about having the autonomy to choose where your energy goes.
Spot on. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. That is the hard truth of the professional world. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. It's about taking ownership. Okay, Elias, I think it's time for our community challenge. What do you have for our listeners?
Here is my challenge for everyone listening. This week, I want you to use one buffer phrase in a real conversation. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Maybe someone asks you to join a meeting you don't need to be in, or a friend asks for a favor you can't fulfill.
I love it. Use the phrase and then come back to our comments and tell us, how did it feel? Did the world end? Or did they just say, okay?
Spoilers, usually they just say, okay. Most people respect a clear no far more than a shaky maybe.
Right. Maybe is the worst because it leaves everyone in limbo.
Exactly. Be definitive, be kind, be assertive.
It's time for our word tour. Elias, let's fire these off so our listeners can use them today. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
First up, to be tied up.
I'm sorry I missed your call. I was tied up in a meeting all morning. That sounds professional and busy.
Perfect. Next, resentful.
If I agree to work this weekend, I'll feel resentful toward my team. Don't let that bitterness grow.
Right. Number 3, compromising.
I can't take on more tasks without compromising the quality of my current project. Standards first, Luna.
Exactly. Now a sophisticated one, bandwidth.
I simply don't have the bandwidth to lead the committee this month. It's about your mental and physical capacity.
And finally, our golden word, assertiveness.
Her assertiveness allowed the team to stay focused on what really matters. It's a superpower.
Wow, what a list. I'm feeling smarter already. Elias, what an enlightening conversation. I feel so much lighter knowing that no isn't a dirty word. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your story with us today.
It was truly my pleasure, Luna. Just remember, everyone, saying no to others is often a way of saying yes to yourself. Keep practicing that assertiveness.
I love that. And to our wonderful listeners, don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with that one friend who can never say no. You know the one.
We all have that friend.
Exactly. Until next time, keep speaking, keep growing, and stay confident. Bye-bye.